Morning students, I welcome you all back to our history class. So, social class in which we are dealing with the history chapter 1, Rise of Nationalism in Europe. So, this rise of nationalism in Europe, we have seen so many content, and previous topic that we saw is the aristocrats and the new middle class. So, how the aristocrats were being there, and those peoples had the big landmass of their own, and they had an very numerous in number, the aristocrats, but the majority of the sections are the peasants. All these things we have seen in the previous content. Now we are moving into the new topic. What did liberal nationalism stands for? So that is what we are going to see. So this liberal nationalism, the idea of national unity, has started before or earlier of 19th century itself, and this word liberal is derived from a Latin word. Liberal means the free. It has a root from free, so means freedom. So they are going to deal with the freedom. So liberalism. So here we'll see about the new middle class peoples who were being considering, or who have been continuously trying to they liberate themselves and stand for the freedom of individual person as well as equality before the law. So they were been striving for that. And also we saw about the politically, if you see, there are peoples who started demanding the concept of, or demanding the concept of eradication of aristocrats and the clergy's rule, and bring the constitutional parliamentary form of government, or constitutional and representative form of government, which they were been demanding. And 19th century, still the people started stressing on the property privilege for the few peoples. They don't want that to be provided. And you can also recollect that in French, what happened, like many peoples were being not given the universal suffrage. Suffrage means the right of voting. So right of voting was not given to many of the peoples. And also you can see here that the few things which are been denied for the French people. The first is political experiment in the liberal democracy. They were not being given any political right at all. Then also you can see that they are denied from the suffrage, that is voting right. And you can also see that many of the peoples are excluded, who don't have their own properties were being excluded from voting. And men without a property and women were also excluded, who were not given any representation. And they also started, that is the French people also started a club which is known as the Jacobin Club, which is a secret society by the adult peoples. And this Napoleon Code was also limiting the suffrages. It also did not give any right for the women's, and it said that women's or the minority section, because minority means very less in population, and they are subjected to particular aspects, like they are supposed to be under the control of one or the other person. That is, if she is a girl, she has to be under the control of his father or brother, or after marriage she is supposed to be under the control of the husband. So that is what is the policy which they had. Though you can also see that in 19th and 20th century, the non-property men's as well as the women's started organizing their own movement, and they demanded for the representation in the political rights. So that is what's also going on in France. So that is what is about the France and their own liberal struggle. Then you can see that these even they had few restrictions to the economical aspects. So that is what we are going to see in the form of an economical aspects. So before getting into that, just look at the phone, you can see that the freedom of individual and equality before the law is very very important, and the government concerned means the government should be a parliamentary form of government, and they wanted to end the aristocrat and the clergy's privilege, and the constitutional and representative government through the parliament should be there, and freedom of press should be there. Freedom of press means they should have an press which will publish the thing that is happening in the nation without any restrictions. So that is called as the freedom of press. Then we'll go into the economical sphere. So if you see economical sphere, we saw about the new business class peoples who had been developed, right? So these new middle class peoples had some kind of restrictions in the trade. So what are that? We'll see. So if you see, they did not have any freedom of market. Freedom of market was not prevailing for them. Then you can also see that they were not given rights like restrictions of movement of goods was there. So they were been demanding for removal of the or abolition of the restrictions of movements of goods and services was being done by them. And what is this capital? Capital means money. Goods means huge bulk of finished products from the market areas. It can be in cotton cloth, it can be in a factory like flour making factory, or it can be a biscuit factory, whatever it is. So it had some restriction that has to be taken to the other state, and in 19th century they strongly demanded these kind of things, like they wanted to abolish the restrictions of movement of goods and services, and they wanted freedom of market to happen. So they are giving an example in Germany. So German first half of 19th century, it was like that, like Napoleon administrative measures has been created, no? So there you can find that all the 39 states which had their own confederation was practicing the same currencies and same kind of measurement. They don't have any problem at all. But you can find that in 1833 onwards, when they were being separated after the 1815, that is Vienna conference, in which Napoleon was defeated, no? So in that treaty he was made to forcefully sign, right? So here you can find that Germany was forcefully made to sign, and you can see that because of that, Habsburg to Newburgh, whenever the person is moving, Newburgh, when he is moving, he is supposed to cross 11 custom barriers, like toll gates are there, no, in our country. Similarly, they are having the 11 custom barriers. So every custom barrier he is supposed to pay, like how we pay in a toll gate. The distance between the Habsburg and the Newsburg is very short only, and you can also see that every area, whenever he is paying, he is supposed to pay 5% of his production, like how 5% of its profit into every areas he has to pay. And you can also see that the weight or the measurement that has been done in different area is also different. And example which I wanted to give you, like in your book itself you can see Elam is an region which has been measuring it differently with the length. Elam textile market brought in the Frankfurt, they are measuring the cloth that is 54.7 centimeter, but in Minsk it is 55.1 centimeter. Nobsburg it is the 56.6 centimeter, and Freiburg it is 53.5 centimeter. So because of each area the variation, it is time consuming in calculating the length, cloth, products and everything, and it was really an barrier for the traders. So they don't want that also to happen, and these economists or the business group wanted to abolish these kind of things. So they've started strongly demanding for the economical exchange that has to be brought, changes that has to be brought in the economical aspect. So they argued and they clarified and they created an unified economical territory which allows them to take their goods or carry their goods without any tax barriers, unhindered, it will be given. So unhindered, without paying any taxes or tariff to them, and the people and the capital can move. And in 1834 they formed their own custom unions, or also called as Zollverein. Zollverein is the union group of people who demanded for an abolition of tariff barriers and the market free environment. So they formed an movement. An initiative was done in Persia and was joined by the German states, and they had an union which abolished tariff barriers and reduced the number of currencies from 130 to 2, and has reduced them to have 30 to 2. And you can see that they also developed the networking system, was also developed. Railway networking system was developed, which also unified the nations by economical sphere. And this did not only unify the people by economical strength, but it also provide them to have a national unification. A national sense of unity was created. And quick recap of this. So you can see that is the economical sphere. If you see, freedom of market is demanded by the business class and the movement of goods and services. And uniform weight, custom duties and measurement should be brought. That is what is their demand. So with an initiative by the Persia and the Uniform Customs Union made the Zollverein. Zollverein is an organization, as I told you. And the union abolished the tariff barriers and reduced the number of currencies from over 30 to 2. And they also developed the unions against opening the networking of railways for the movement of goods and services was also developed. This is what is about the liberalism stands for. So I hope you would have understood it clearly. So the next topic, a new conservative after 1850, we'll see in the next class, students. So thank you, students.